Good day, gents. In this video we're going to look at how to construct the stud that you see for task 6. We've just completed our nut, and once we've constructed this stud, you should be able to then go and start very basic and very simple assemblies. So what is a stud? A stud is essentially a shaft that has thread from either end of the shaft in which we can attach various components to. Okay, so when we talk about a stud, we talk about external thread, and if you remember in our previous lesson, when it came to a nut, we spoke about internal thread. The internal thread meaning that we could not see the root of the thread. Here will be the complete thread will be exposed. We'll be able to see crest and root of the thread. Now, to orientate yourself around the stud, you'll see that this view over here gives us this little line, this little convention on the inside from left to right, on the left and on the right here. That is the thread depth. In other words, the hard outline will be the crest of the thread, and the inside line here will be the root of the thread. Where you see these little 60s over here, where the thread comes to an end of the shaft, that's where it tapers out. It'll taper out at a 60-degree angle. And then we have a little 45-degree chamfer towards the end of the shaft, where the nut will come into contact as we turn the nut on. And if you have a look at this view, it's kind of a front view, or a direct head-on view. If we were looking, we could suggest if we're looking from that direction onto the shaft, and that is what we would see as we look straight onto it. Now, if you remember over here, the nut, because it was internal thread, we broke on the thread depth on the inside, and you'll have it, on the outside. Well, in this case, it's on the outside. And if you have a look at the stud over here, you'll see we break the thread on the inside. So let's continue this. I'm going to just extend this construction line straight across for sort of just to stay organized and use that as a starting point, so everything has some sort of organized, it's just for an organized layout. So I'm going to start by using this construction line over here. We know that the total length of this stud is 130 mils, so I'm going to draw a construction line straight up, and I'm going to measure that 130 mils and then go make a mark. So that's, I'm working back here, so that's 30, back to 0, then up to 100, gives me 130. I'm then going to work across the total distance across, which is metric 30, right? So it's M30. So I'm going to work across 30 mils, and I'm going to construct the line straight up. All construction until right at the end. Then I'm going to pull that mark that I've created at the top across, and now I've got the total framework in which this stud is going to find itself. And what I'm going to do at this time now, at this stage, is I'm going to immediately go in and find my thread depth. What is my thread depth? My thread depth is always going to be the metric standard, in this case, M30 times 0.1, and that should give us an answer of 3 millimeters. So my thread depth, the distance from the outline, crest to root, is going to be 3 mils. So what I'm going to do is come to the bottom here, and I'm going to measure 3 mils in from either side, and then draw a construction line. Right, so then a nice little construction line all the way through to the top. Remember, this is light, so it doesn't matter that we carry these lines longer than they necessarily need to be carried. Excellent. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a 45-degree set square, and I'm going to do these little chamfers at the top and at the bottom. Okay, quickly grabbing my 45-degree set square. Right, excellent. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to run a 45 from that point up, and I'm going to run a 45 from that point up. Nice and light. Okay? Then you'll notice I can then go and construct where the chamfer starts, where the 45s meet the crest. See, there we go. I might have to draw that a bit darker. I hope you can see that. Right, so I'll do the same at the top. I'm going to go do my 45s from the root out to the crest, from the root to the crest. There we go. And then I'll do my little chamfer, which is where the chamfer starts. There we go. So I've got it at the top and I've got it in position at the bottom. I'm now going to go work out this internal detail here where the thread starts and stops on both sides. We know that it's 65 in total from the top. So I'm going to measure 65 from the top. So if we take there's 0, 65. Sorry, my ruler's coming in contact with the camera here, not ideal. 65 is about there. From the top, I'm going to draw a line straight across. There we go. And then we're going to come 20 down in order to find the next part, the start of the thread at the bottom. So I'm going to come down 20 on that marker there. Off that marker, sorry. And then that's my 20. Okay. You're going to have to excuse these markers here. I was drawing earlier and unfortunately I wasn't recording the video, so to rub everything out. Right. So there's that marker. So that mark from there to there gives me this 20 here, deficit in the middle. Alright, so what do I need to do now? Very simply, in order to present these tapers, in other words, so what happens is the thread actually tapers out and comes to an end. And how we do that is we just use our 60-degree set square and we're going to go from root to crest from these intersecting points over here. So 60 degrees there, out towards the left, 60 degrees here, out towards the right. And we're going to do the same thing for the top. Alright, we're going to go 60 degrees out towards the right, 60 degrees out towards the left. Right, there we have it. Everything we have is essentially in place. We just need to go over things in darker lines. So what I'm going to do now is all the lines that need to be done sort of darker bold, I'm going to do with my 5mm, and then I'm going to come back to my 3mm for my thread. So to do the dark outlines, I'm going to just follow what I see. So we're going to start from top to bottom here. Right, I'm going to do the same thing here. Light isn't very good for me. Right, there we go. I'm going to draw a line straight across there. It's the chamfer starting point. This is chamfer starting point. Okay, now we've got our 45s. Yeah, you don't even need to use your set squares, you could just be using a ruler, completely up to you. I'll just do the top now. Alright. Flip the set square, continue with the chamfer. Here we go. Right, let's continue at where the chamfer part is. Okay. All right. Where else do we have dark lines? We have the dark lines or the outlines over here, where the point at which the thread starts to taper out. All right. I'm just going to go draw this down a bit darker. Didn't quite get good contact on the paper when I drew it. That's better. Right, so we've got all the necessary lines in position. Now I'm going to take my 3mm, and while this needs to be dark, it needs to be lighter than a construction line. So I'm going to go and join point to point here. Here we go, that's my thread there, my thread over there. Right, and just to finish that off, I'm going to ensure that my taper is done nice and dark as well. In the same pencil, my 3mm. Now, if you don't have a 3mm, just going to finish that. If you don't have a 3mm on you, that's fine. You just make sure you're slightly lighter when you draw these. Alright, here we go. Come to this end. all in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go construct the front view of this. Oh, you'll see what I've done here, which is incorrect, is I've carried my thread through the center portion, which is incorrect, sorry. Okay, so your thread should not carry itself through the center part of that stud. Alright, so the stud is finished. We're going to now look at the front view, if you like, or the head-on view of the thread. So I'm just going to get a center point. You know that this is 30 mils, right? So I'm going to find the center. So the center is about there. I'm just going to pull that straight down. Right, I'm going to make a set of axes because I'm dealing with a circle. Right, sorry you can't see. So I'm going to make a set of construction axes on which to draw this head-on view. So what do I do here? I'm going to take my compass again and I'm going to construct a circle with a diameter, with a radius of 15 because the total is 30. So a radius of 15. Here it is. Alright, so let's complete that. So that's got a radius of 15. Make sure that I get that spot on here. In other words, what I could do just to make sure that I stay in line with the top view is to use my top view. So projecting. So let me show you what I mean there. If I just project this down, right, then I can just take my compass and make sure that I meet up there, and I can zoom up. Right, make sure you get all the way around. Looks like I've come off slightly here. Oopsie. Gosh, it's very frustrating sometimes with these. Let's rub out that and start that again. Okay, make sure that compass really is set in, otherwise you lose it. Okay, there we go. Okay, right, so what do we need to do now? We need to work out thread depth, which is already done for us. It's 3 millimeters. So the difference between the crest and the root is 3, which means if my radius is 15, I'm going to subtract 3 from that, which is going to give me a total of 12 millimeters. So then I'm going to work on a 12 millimeter radius. I'm just going to get a smaller compass quickly. Here we go. So I'm going to work on a radius of 12 millimeters. So I'm going to open this up to 12. There it is. And I'm going to go swing that arc around. Now, notice where I like to break, top right hand quadrant. So I'm going to go there, make a break, start, so that you can see my hands in the way. So I'm started there, a break, and then I continue with my circle. So let me make sure that it stays in contact. It's usually handy to get stencils so that this doesn't slide. Right, and I'll continue all the way around. And that's it. Let me just complete this portion at the top. There we go. So that is the stud in the sort of head-on view. Yeah, and that's the drawing, gents. So you're going to use this knowledge and you're going to apply it to this. I think this is going to be task 8, in which you have to construct a nut and a bolt assembled. All right, good luck, gentlemen, and I hope this video helped you construct this